This week's makeover is going to be my sofa, and I will be trying to, well, I am actually inspired by the Temple and Webster. I was going to buy new sofas, but why buy new sofas when I can probably make slip covers to match, get as close as I can anyway to that Temple and Webster, and I'll be saving myself, well, the Temple and Webster is $7.99. I'll be spending $45 on each sofa, so there you go. The actual secret to these slip covers is this drop cloth fabric, and it's for a few reasons. It's cheap, but also the quality is amazing, and this is the one I get. It's the Monarch, and I've made these cushion covers for outside. I've also made sofa slip covers, but that was the Aldi drop sheet fabric. That pack is such good value, but there are a lot, and just have a look and be careful because look how loosely woven that is there, and I wouldn't choose that. And even paint, you would think would go straight through that, wouldn't you? I don't know, it doesn't look very thick. Wagner, I would say, would be the best quality. It's more expensive, but look at the quality of that. Even they say on the packet it's top quality fabric. The only thing is that Wagner name there, word, was printed on the actual drop sheet, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope it's not printed all over it, and I'll have to ask if I buy that. But I am washing them this time because last time I didn't, and they shrunk big time. I still managed to be able to, squeeze them on, but yeah, it wasn't very good. So now cutting out, because there are so many pieces and so many also pieces in the actual drop sheets, I do want to figure out how I'm going to cut them out. I just sort of wrote down and sort of drew a diagram of what I was going to do. So there were two back pieces for both sofas, two back pieces, two front pieces, and I made the mistake of only cutting out two sidearm pieces, which of course there are two sidearms on each couch, so there's four altogether, but that's okay. I used a 1.5 by 1.5 meter to cut those out. So for one packet I had enough for both the actual slip covers, not the cushions, just the slip covers. I really do need new pins. It's disgusting. Most of them are bent, but the next step anyway is to pin them out. I just do it on the ground because they're such big pieces. This is a job in itself, actually. It takes a little bit of time, but it's all good. Once it's cut out, then I'll be ready to start sewing. And I always mark on the pieces what they are. You might think, oh, it'll be easy enough, but also the what ends what, like the floor, the side, that sort of thing. It just makes things so much easier. And with this fabric, you don't really tell which is the right side and the wrong side. I can't really. I mean, there probably is a right side and a wrong side. So being a plain fabric, you can't really tell with that. So you can't really make a mistake in that regard. And also being a plain fabric, you don't really have to worry about matching up patterns either and that sort of thing, which is good. This extension cord's a bit annoying because it keeps coming undone, but it should be okay because I won't be pulling on it. So I've got a really pretty view from my sewing station. I've actually, I've got a few IKEA tables that I just unscrew the legs and pack away and I'm not using, but they do come in really handy. I've got a smaller one for painting, and I've got this one I can use for painting, but also for sewing. It's really good, and I'll be using that today. Another important thing here is with this fabric you have to zigzag around, or if you've got an overlocker you can like serge around the edges because this frays big time. Depending on which side and which way you cut, one edge frays more. I think that edge there you can see is would fray more easily, but that's a big thing, is you have to zigzag and try to contain the edges here, otherwise they will just fray. So I finished cutting out all of the pieces for both slip covers, and I put them in separate piles so I know which is which. I'm going to be doing one at a time. So this is the corner. I sort of rearranged it a little bit, and I've moved the sofa back to give more room, and it creates a nice little space, nice cozy little space. So this was the original slip covers I did out of the Aldi drop cloth. This was the other one that was some fabric I bought for $2 a meter. I actually like the drop cloth fabric better than this. It just worked out better. This did shrink, like I said before, but I don't mind it. It sort of looks quite nice and fitted. So what I'm going to be doing now is just pinning the pieces onto the sofas and then sewing. So I'll pin 2 pieces, sew, pin and sew. I'm not going to pin everything at once. I like pinning them on before I sew, just to make sure that they're positioned correctly and they're all good. I mean, they should be, because I've done this before a few times. So I just make the seams. I think they're about 1.5 by 1.5 centimeter seams on the slip covers. And if another point too is, I'm not going into great detail about how I sew this. I do have a video on making these slip covers, and I sort of also have, well, I've actually got 2 videos, and I've got another video if you're interested in the pattern. Now this is a Jazz 2-seater sofa we bought secondhand from Fantastic Furniture, and in that video I actually give you the pattern in a diagram, and then you can of course measure it out and make it yourself. But if you want to do that and you're interested in doing that, and I'll link all those videos up above and also in the description too. So the second part now is, once I've joined the front and the back, I'm drawing the side arms, and also this little piece here is really fiddly and annoying. But this piece is the piece that fascinates me the most when the sofa's actually finished. It just makes it look so nice and fitted and neat. But it is a little bit difficult to sew, I find, and it is, yeah, a little bit fiddly. And what I do, you sort of have to make a little cut in the fabric. You can see me there, and it's hard to see, so I'll show you what I did in my last video, and I'll explain it better here. What to do when you get up to the corner. It can be extremely difficult to do because the material bunches up. What you do is you sew up to the width of the seam at the end, and you make like a little, what's called a relief cut, and that will help you turn the fabric with very little bulk, and so it will create a nice neat finish. And I think it might have been easier if I had that other bit where I'm making the relief cut, if that was up the top. Like you just saw, it just would have been easier for me to see. But yeah, it is a little bit fiddly. What I was saying about the Jazz 2-seater, this is a pattern for the Jazz 2-seater, but if you have a Jazz 3-seater, all you would have to do, I guess, is extend the front and the back piece, so the length of it is longer to accommodate for the extra seat. So yeah, that would be pretty easy to do, but it's there if anyone's interested. And to be honest, I was thinking of even buying 2 more sofas of these Jazz 2-seater sofas to put into the family room and making covers. And of course, it doesn't have to be this fabric. It could be some really nice fabric that you buy. The problem is other fabric is so expensive. You probably need about 10 meters to cover these sofas. So this is why this is so affordable and so doable. But after I've sewn that little piece on in the side arms, I'm just having a look to see that it fits okay and that I haven't sort of sewn over any edges and made any tucks. And no, it's all good. It's nice and neat. The corners are the main thing, and also where it joins onto the arm. And yeah, I'm pleased with that. So the next thing is to put on the front of the arms and the back of the arms, and this is where it gets a little bit hard. Like you can see there where I've pinned on, there are like 3 edges you've sort of got to sew through. And also by this point the whole sofa is put together, so it's quite weighty and bulky, and I find these are the most difficult bits to sew on. Surprisingly and funnily enough it all worked out, although there was one point where I did make a bit of a tuck. I had to go back and unpick it, but that was okay. But yeah, it always surprises me that it works out, because half the time I'm sewing, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. But yeah, it always seems to work out, which is good. So it took me a whole day to do the 2 slip covers. I just wanted to get these out of the way and done, because this is the most fiddly and sort of hardest part to do. Funnily enough, it didn't take as long to do as the cushions did. They're a little bit easier and just more of a repetitive sort of thing. So that took 1 packet. So I had to buy another packet of the 3-piece drop sheets. So that was another $45. So like I said, it was about $45 for... It wasn't even $45 for each sofa, because I used probably just over 1.5 packets. But now I'm doing the cushions, and the cushions are so easy, and I've done them so many times in my videos, so I'll link those as well if you want to see. But it's just a 1 piece. I put a zip in one end, so I'm sewing up at the end just a few inches, and then popping the zip in, sewing that in. Then once that's sewn in, I turn it inside out. I sew up the sides. I turn it back the other way, and the point of difference with these is that I put 1.5 centimeter pleat around the edge, and this is what will make this sofa slip cover very similar to the Temple and Webster. It will give it the same sort of look and the same sort of design, and they're quite popular, these slip covers these days. You see a lot of sofas and cushions sewn this way, and I think that is the point of difference, and that's what makes this this project turned out so well in the end. So because I am putting the pleat in these, when I do turn them the right way and I am sewing up the sides, you'll see in a minute that the seam that I sew them together on the inside is very small, and that's because this isn't the end of the seam. So when I turn them in the right way now, I've got to sew another 1.5. So if I sewed them together inside out 1.5, then I turned them round and sewed down here 1.5, that would be too tight and they wouldn't fit. So I just made the seam really small, probably the width of the foot, and now I'm just sewing around the outside, and this is a finishing touch to the cushion. And I do all of them exactly the same, the back cushions and the seat cushions as well. So because these are box cushions, I do have to do something to the corner, so I decided to try to put some stuffing in the corner to make them, fill them out. But you see originally like they're box cushions there, and that was my first slip cover, but I need to make them more like this, so make them look like they're not so square. And so what I've done is put some stuffing in there, and just see what you think, which you prefer, with stuffing or without stuffing. So just comparing the two, I think myself, definitely I will add the stuffing to the corner. They are going to stick out a little bit, but that's all good, I guess. And if I don't like them, I can always take them out. Just comparing though, I think definitely putting that little bit of stuffing in the corner is better. Just rounds the corner off a bit and fills it out as well. This is fine too. We'll just see how we go, but can't even make up my mind. But I think I will, yeah, add that little bit of stuffing to the corner there. So you're probably thinking, what the heck is she doing now? I am making some scatter cushions. So originally I was going to buy them. I thought I might do some in the drop cloth fabric because I had some scraps left over, but I did want to decorate, and I thought, what if I stenciled it with some paint? This is a chalk paint that I use for the dining table, and this is a stencil that I made myself, and I just wondered what it would turn out on fabric, and I was pleased with that. I have used them on wood and on drawer fronts, and oh, it's so pretty. I love them. And so I thought, so I had these two pieces, and had some other smaller pieces that I can fiddle around and make fit for the back and put a zip in. This is not a repetitive stencil, but I'm sort of trying to make it look like it is. On the first piece of fabric I did, though, I made the mistake of just painting all right to the edge, and then it sort of, you can sort of see the mark where it ends, and it's more of a straight line. But this side was okay. This piece, it sort of looks more flowy, and it looks sort of more like it's a repetitive sort of stencil. Some people have asked in the past with the other slip cover, is this fabric rough? No, it's not. And I will tell you that when we bought our Jazz 2-seater sofa, the fabric that it came with, the original fabric, I always thought, this is so rough, this fabric. So this drop cloth fabric isn't even as rough as the fabric it actually came with. And these sofas, if you buy them new, they're $699. So yeah, so I find this is a lot softer, and I'm just heat setting the paint here, although I didn't have to, as it turned out, because the very first little scrap piece that I tried the stencil on, I threw in the washing machine and it stayed in place, and I never even heat set that, so yeah, it won't wash off. I thought it might be chalk paint as well, and it's just acrylic, it's not even fabric paint. And then the last step with these throw cushions is to do another pleat seam around the side. It's pretty good. So inserts are quite expensive. This is just a pillow. Come in 2 packs. And I'm just using the actual pillow as an insert and saving quite a bit of money. So the pillow cover was $7. 2 pillows were $4.50, so I say $2, so $9 for that cushion. And it sort of makes it more affordable to that, because inserts can cost quite a lot of money, and especially if you're making your own cushions to sell, this is a great. I don't normally just put them in like this. I will cut them off, measure the size I want, say 50 centimeters or 46 centimeters, and then sew it down so it's an actual sort of insert. But yeah, I'm just doing it like this. No one's going to know. These are quite bulky cushion covers too, so you don't see any little bumps. Just get the cushion down. I was originally going to buy throw blankets and make cushions out of them. One side the throw and the other side just the drop sheet fabric. But I decided I've had enough sewing. I put the sewing machine away. Yeah. Yeah, these are really pretty, aren't they? David's being annoying. No, he's not annoying. He's just not very helpful. So I found these pillowcase inserts have been a lifesaver for me with all of my cushions. And if you are selling cushions, making cushion covers and wanting to sell and put inserts in, it's a great idea because it will really maximize your profits. You're not spending so much on inserts because they can be expensive. Also, you can adapt these to any shape cushion you want. And yeah, I love it. And yeah, so they're just the Kmart 2-pack, $4.50 cushions, low profile. And if you can get them cheaper somewhere else, go for it. But I'm also using these throws that are soft from Kmart, and they're only $10, oh, they're so nice and soft. They're a checkerboard one too, so they match the cushions. It's winter in Australia at the moment, so yeah, they're nice and cozy and cuddly. So it's time to put the slip cover on. You can see the state of the couch there. It's not very good, so I had to do something. I did wash these, but there is a little bit of wiggle room, I think, for a bit of shrinkage there. So hopefully when I do wash them, they won't shrink too much. But as you can see, there is a little bit of room for shrinkage. And I did decide to put stuffing in the corners and to get rid of that boxy look and to make it more Temple and Webster-ish. So this is a Sophia rug from Kmart. This size was a 160 by 235 and it just fits nicely in here. It's such a cozy little corner now. This is so soft and so pretty. I'm so glad I got this one. I was going to get a different one that was a lot flatter and harder, but this is beautiful. I actually want to get some more, but they don't seem to have any in stock. I wanted a round one for the spare room, so hopefully they'll get more back in. Oh, this is nice. This has got a nice thick backing on it too. It's not one of those really thin rugs, so I don't need anything sticky to hold it down, which is really good. The curtains too there, I replaced the blinds with these nice sheer curtains. They're also from Kmart. I still have to do the one in the corner behind the sofa because I had to cut the rod, but that makes such a difference too. Just lovely, and it softens the whole lounge and it's so nice and cozy. And it's sort of really hard to get an idea on the screen, but when you're in it, it's really nice. And this is a Nate coffee table that I really love. So this is what my sofas were like. You can see why I wanted to buy new ones, but then I thought, why not try to save literally $1,500 and make my own, update them this time too, so you can see the difference there. And I think mine look pretty darn good. Oh, I'm so pleased with them. Everyone loves them. They're so nice and cozy and they're plush. The fabric's soft, amazing quality. They're cheap. The Temple and Webster sofas were $7.99 each. I rounded mine off at $45 for each sofa, but in an upcoming video I'll tell you why it didn't even cost me that. It actually cost me nothing. Love these cushions and the little stencils and the way they turned out. Just so cute. And you can see the quality of the fabric there too when you look at it. And I have used this fabric before. I've washed it multiple times. It's all been fine. So, if you've been watching the makeover of the lounge, stay tuned for a couple of seconds and I will just do a quick sweep of the lounge with the wallpaper, the TV unit, the dining table, and now this, and see what you think. Yes, so thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time. It was a long video, but it's something, all my videos are things that I love to look back on and watch as well. So, I hope you get some enjoyment out of them. Stay safe this week, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great week, and bye for now. Using an 80 grit on the chair seats. To be honest, I think I was using a 60 at first, and then I ran out of 60s. I just wanted to cut through it because if it has stain and also a top coat on, it can take a while. This was pleasantly surprising, though. It did come off quite easily, and I was really pleased with that. Another thing I was really